welcome back to my channel. I am the Mass Trans and you are watching me, baby. Now, before we get today's video started, I just want to give a quick what's up to my peeps and a diabolical middle finger to the creeps. You know who you are. All right, you guys, so it is Wednesday. Happy hump day. It's raining around these parts. I don't know what the weather is giving where you are, but around these parts, it's raining. The struggle was real to get up out this bed, but I did it. I'm here. So, still in my nightgown. Still in my nightgown, but I'm here, and I wanted to come and talk to you guys really quick about a couple of things. One thing in particular was, I'm going to give you guys sort of my opinion of TS Madison's appearance on the Breakfast Club morning show with Charlamagne and Angela Yee. So, TS Madison appeared on the show and talked about quite a few different subjects, and I have some opinions on some of the things that she talked about, and my opinions on some of her opinions. So let's talk about it. So first of all, shout out to the Breakfast Club. I love that the Breakfast Club platform gives, you know, a platform to pretty much everyone. LGBTQIAP+, straight, intelligent, ignorant, black, white, you know, across the board. It's sort of an equal opportunity platform. And I love the fact that they try to balance opinions instead of sort of having this linear pathway, you know, in terms of what they're willing to show. So TS Madison was on there and she talked quite a bit about the baby, Lil Boosie, and, you know, trans issues as a whole. Now let's talk about one of the things that I loved about the interview. One of the things I loved about this interview is something that I wish Flame Monroe would do, right? Madison made it perfectly clear on multiple occasions that she was only, that's that bonnet hanging out in the back, y'all. Y'all know what it gives. She made it clear on multiple occasions that she was only speaking for herself, that the trans community is not a monolith. We are all individuals who might have different beliefs, values, principles, what have you. And I love the fact that she, you know, talked about how she felt as it relates to pronouns, you know, because it seems like she sort of has this grace as it relates to her family, but for society as a whole, she ain't got no time for that. Like, either you refer to me as she, her, and hers, or we might have a situation. So I love the fact that she was talking about pronouns and about how sometimes there's, you know, a little wiggle room depending on the person that you're, or the family member that you're talking to. But the rest of you hoes might get that smoke if you don't watch your mouth. What else did she talk about? So she talked about the baby, and this is where she and I happen to differ in opinion. So when it comes to the baby, she kept saying, you know, I wish the baby would, you know, just simply say who he was talking about, you know, address who he was talking about, and how she felt like he shouldn't have been canceled. Now, let me tell you guys really quick. This is how I feel about cancel culture. The only person I gave a damn about being canceled was Janet. When they came for my girl after the Super Bowl, I've been over it ever since. How you gonna cancel Janet? And Dave, why you ain't talking about Janet getting canceled? Why you talking about the baby? Okay? If anybody deserves to be rescued from cancellation, it's my girl Janet. They treated Janet like a leper after the Super Bowl, and I don't appreciate it. Now, outside of Janet, I don't give a damn about the rest of them hoes. Couldn't care less. Bring Janet back. But Madison was basically saying how she felt like the baby shouldn't have been canceled. Now, here's the thing for me, right? I had never subscribed to the baby, right? So there was nothing for me to cancel. Nothing for me to cancel. And when I heard what he said at Rolling Loud, I thought it was some ignorant-ish, right? Just pure, unadulterated ignorance. Unsolicited, unwarranted ignorance. And she was basically saying how she wishes he would be very specific about who he was talking about the F-N words that he had a beef with, but instead he doubled down on his ignorance. I don't care either way about the baby being canceled, right? I'm not checking for him. I don't exist in his ether. He doesn't exist in mine. We live in two completely different worlds. I'm unaffected by his beliefs. I'm unaffected by his words. Like, I really don't care. You know, rolling loud or not rolling loud. The problem for me is always this hypocrisy or double standard as it relates to cancel culture, right? Because when a Karen acts up, when a white power executive acts up, we, myself included as a black community, we lose our minds, right? You know, we want her to lose her job. You know, we want her to be publicly humiliated. We want her to wear the scarlet R for racism on her head in public at all times. We are going in and we are not coming out when it's a Karen or when it's a white person who is exhibiting racist or bigoted behavior. But where's the grace, right? Because when it comes to what the baby said, which was completely, in my opinion, homophobic, transphobic, anti-LGBTQIAP plus what have you, it was just outright ignorant. But we're expected to give him grace, but none to Karen. And then people make all of these excuses. And I don't want you guys to think that I'm defending Karen. I'm just simply saying that if we're going to have an honest conversation, we have to be honest about there being a double standard, about this cancellation culture. And people don't want to be honest about the fact that there is a double standard, that we want to hold white people accountable for what they say, but not so much black people for what they say, right? When black people say something ignorant, we need to not cancel them. We need to talk to them, coach them, enlighten them, meet with them. Girl, ain't nobody got time with that. I'm too busy to be meeting with ignorant people, okay? I ain't got time for it. I don't care. For me, if you are ignorant, it's because you choose to be ignorant. There are so many resources out here in this world today that if you wanted to be edified about any subject, I don't give a damn what it is. There are too many resources at the press of a button, at the swipe of a finger, for you to be ignorant. It's a choice. So if you choose to be stuck in ignorance, I'm going to leave your ass stuck in ignorance, and I'm going to move on to greatness. I don't have time to be giving the baby my energy, so I'm not worried about him being canceled. What I know for sure is that people like the baby will eventually cancel themselves, okay? When you put that type of energy, karma into the world, I'm telling you, it's coming back for you. It's coming back. Let me tell y'all a quick story, right? I had this friend, right, who I considered at this point in time a really close friend. And this particular friend went and stole my purse. Stole my purse, right? Went in, girl went shopping with all my good credit. Had a good time, right? And I remember feeling like I wanted to be violent in that moment, because I don't know if it was the violation of the friendship or the fact that you had compromised my identity, but I felt like some retribution needed to be taken upon your face. And time had passed before I ever made, the two of us were ever in the same space. And in that moment that we were finally in the same space, I said to myself, do I attack? Because I am prone to attack. Do I attack, or do I approach this like a grown woman, right? And I'm happy to say that the grown woman in me won out, because I didn't attack. In that moment, I had a conversation with myself, and I said, you know what? This ain't my job. This is the universe's job. Karma will do the work for me. I don't have to cancel him. I don't have to fight out here in these streets and be looking all crazy and unladylike because I'm upset about, credit and this, that, and the third. I'm able to fix all of that and repair all of that. They will never be able to fix who they are. And they will constantly struggle. And guess what? They continue to struggle to this very day. And guess where I am, baby? Not struggling. Not struggling. And that is because, in my opinion, I put good energy into the universe. So I don't care about people being canceled. I don't care about the baby. I don't care about Dave Chappelle. All of it, in my opinion, is immaterial to me personally, just because I don't internalize other people's dysfunction. I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't internalize the comments that come in when people say ignorant to me. Girl, I hit delete and move on. Delete, move on. And I don't just delete comments that are antithetical to what I believe. I delete comments that are purely ignorant, right? So if you have an opinion that is counter to my own and you articulate that in a respectful manner, I press accept, because I'm all about dialogue and conversations, right? I'm not going to cancel you because you have a different opinion of me. I'm open to a conversation. But when you come over here, you leave comments, oh, you a man, oh, you a dude, girl, bye. Girl, you bye. You just spent 30 minutes watching a video of a man enjoying yourself, and then felt compelled enough to leave a comment. What does that say about you? Because I know for me, if I see something that I don't like, that I disagree with, I'm hitting close. I'm hitting that X button and I'm moving on, because I ain't got time for it. So Madison basically talked about how she felt like the baby shouldn't be canceled, and I'm of two minds. In one way, I felt like he got what he deserved because he called that energy towards him. And on the other hand, I don't give a damn if he's canceled or not. But my point being is that when black people get upset and ask for these people not to be canceled, and they support Dave Chappelle saying, we have to end cancel culture and get back to a point in time where we can say everything that we want to say, in my opinion, it feels a lot like the MAGA movement. Like they want to make America great again. We want to go back to a time where it was okay to be disrespectful, where it was okay to call a person an F-bomb. We miss those days, and we want to go back to that. and say that with impunity. But if you compare the MAGA movement to the call for cancellation culture, people will fight you tooth and nail and tell you that it's different. It's not. It's not. People in the MAGA movement want to go back to the days where white people were able to be superior, disrespectful, say what they want to say, and live better than, people of color. That's what they want. People over here who want to be sort of, because for me, this anti-cancellation culture is not about anything else but trans women and the LGBTQ community. We want to be able to target the LGBTQIAP plus community with impunity. Like, we want to be able to call them names, make fun of them, quote unquote, punch down on them, and we don't want repercussions from that. But I can tell you this, for me personally, I done told y'all once, I'm going to tell you twice. If you punch, I punch back. I punch back. And I need y'all to understand, when I'm on this YouTube channel, I'm giving you the mild-mannered version. I'm giving you the turned-down version. Because, baby, it can go. It can go places that, baby, I promise you, you would not want to go. Because people think that when you're trans, if they call you man or something, that's a neutralizer. Like, you a dude, and you're supposed to be like, they figure me out. Figure me out. Like, calling you that just neutralizes you. It renders you powerless. You a dude. Well, girl, let me tell you what you are. Let me run down the list of things that you are, baby. And I promise you, by the time I'm done, you will be ready to fight me. I promise you. So, and that's the problem, right? Because people expect for trans women to be defenseless, whether it's physically or verbally, what have you. We live in a society of fornicators, people having sex outside of wedlock, girls having BBLs left and right, breast augmentations, nose jobs, Botox, all of that stuff. They're being celebrated for changing the body that, quote unquote, God gave them. But trans women are, for whatever reason, being vilified for doing the same thing. So if it's okay for the goose, then goddamn it, I'm the gander, it's okay for me. I said it and I meant it. So anyway, I'm going too far off tangent. But anyway, Madison talked about not canceling the baby. And again, I don't care either way. She did give a more stern admonishing to Lil Boosie and sort of his attack on Lil Nas X. Made some really good points about that. I agree with her 100% on what she said about Lil Nas X versus Lil Boosie. Lil Boosie just needs to have a seat and worry about his kids and his life, right? Worry about, stop being mistaken for a raccoon. The bags, them circles, baby. That to me is just from years of worrying about what Lil Nas X is doing. Sit down somewhere, honey. Go get you a facial. Go get you some skin lightening. Go get that skin together, baby. Have a seat and quit worrying about Lil Nas X. What else did she talk about? Talked a little bit about Flame Monroe, about how they don't necessarily agree on everything, and don't even get me started on Flame, because that's really what I appreciated in this interview, because when Flame speaks about the trans community, typically she's speaking in, binary terms. It either is or it isn't, right? And I love the fact that Madison was very careful in her language and saying, like, look, this is what I believe. And if Flame did the same thing that Madison did with this interview, I would probably have less of a problem with her language. But she doesn't. Like, she speaks as if she's some sort of trans guru who speaks for all trans women, when I don't even know. Let me stop. Let me stop, because I'm about to go down a rabbit hole that I did not prepare to go down this morning. But all in all, it was a great interview. I love seeing Madison doing her thing. I love seeing her break out the box. And so it's just good to see a black trans woman sort of on the rise. And, I've been following Madison for quite some time. So I feel like, like a proud sister. Like, I've had a hand in her success. So kudos to her for everything that she has going on. I'm continuing to send her positive vibes, positive energy. And I hope that she continues to be successful. If I had one critique of Madison, one critique, I personally, and this is me, I hate when she talks about how people are talking about what she doesn't have. Because, they say I'm broke. They say I ain't got this. To me, that's sort of like humble bragging, right? Like, where like you're trying to pretend like you don't have it, but in essence, you're saying, oh, I got all of this. And it comes across a little tacky, in my personal opinion. No offense to Madison, I'm just saying, just giving my opinion. Like, if you got it, you got it. And if you don't got it, go get it. Okay? If you got it, you got it. If you don't got it, go get it. Go get you some. Go get you 2 or 3 of them. So that would be my only critique. Other than that, great interview. Madison, next time you go on the Breakfast Club, though, I'm going to call you to the carpet if you don't get all of those nails fixed, okay? Get them all fixed. Don't go up on there with all with no broken nails. I know I'm not the only one that saw it. I know I'm not. But anyway, other than that, congratulations, great job. Moving on. So before I get out of here, I want to talk really quickly about a show called, is it Chasing Lauryn or, I don't know, but it's from the Chasing franchise. Just Lauryn, I think it's called. So Lauryn from the Chasing franchise has her own show. I believe we're up to episode 3. I've watched episodes 1, 2, and 3. 1 and 2, I didn't make a review of it just because I didn't really have a lot of positive things to say, right? And one thing I didn't want to do is just create a video tearing this girl down. Because I want to celebrate trans women, black trans women in particular, and I want to celebrate black cis women as well. But speaking of this Just Lauryn show, so we're not going to talk about the first 2 episodes. We're going to talk about the most recent episode, episode 3. Because there were a lot of gems in this episode that I really, really love. So, Lauryn has moved back home to Alabama, I believe it is, to be with her family. The family, the father in particular, is having some issues with adjusting to Lauryn's transition and adjusting to calling Lauryn by her chosen pronouns. And it's just creating some chaos or some discord in the family. And first of all, shout out to Lauryn's dad. Like, I love seeing a black man supporting their trans child. Whether he calls Lauryn he or she, to me personally, is immaterial. The fact that he is still there, still loving, still caring, still concerned outside of Lauryn's transness speaks volume to his character. So I really love seeing the dynamic of the relationship, and I love the fact that they're having conversations about it and not arguments. Lauryn wants her family to take this fast track to seeing her as a woman, and I'm just sorry to say, sis, it doesn't work like that. Just like you transition, they have to transition. You have to allow that period of adjustment for your family members who have been calling you by male pronouns for pretty much all of your life. It's not a light switch. They have to make that adjustment to seeing the new you. And the best way to make them see the new you is by being the new you, right? Don't force feed people. Allow them some grace. Allow them some time to adjust. And when they do, and when you've reached the point where you feel like, all right, it's been a year. I've been around y'all for a year. You've been seeing Lauryn for a year. We're going to need to step up and start trying to correct this. I get it, but you can't just come home in a weekend and expect people to have changed, their perception of you. It takes time. Another really good gem in this particular show was one where she went to a friend's house and 2 of her cisgender female friends were there. And Lauryn was basically saying, how come you guys don't invite me to straight clubs? And she was basically saying, well, if I can come to your house but you can't take me to straight clubs, then, you quote unquote aren't my friend. And to that, I wholeheartedly disagree, right? Because I believe the girl's name was Treasure. Treasure was speaking facts to Lauryn. She was basically saying, look, girl, if we take you out to a straight club, and there's a problem because A, a dude is just transphobic, or B, a dude doesn't recognize that you're trans, and it turns into a whole situation where violence erupts, we don't want that for you. We want you to be safe. But rather than hearing that message, I felt like Lauryn was hearing, we don't want you around because we're embarrassed of you, and then it turns into this whole thing, maybe they're uncomfortable because I look better than them. I cannot stand when trans women do this. This is kind of what Nikita Gunn did a few months ago. Beauty is beauty, right? And I'm not in this competition with cisgender women or trans women, what have you. A beautiful person is a beautiful person. Both of the girls who were in that room, Treasure, and I'm sorry I can't think of the other girl's name, in my opinion, were both beautiful women. And them telling you that they don't want to take you to the club for safety reasons has nothing to do with them somehow feeling like you're going to take attention away from them. You might take attention away from them, and the attention you take away might be attention that you don't want to receive. I'm just saying. So don't be so quick to want to test your fish. Test your fish. And testing your fish is basically when you transition and you feel like you have arrived, like she is she, baby. She is she. And because she is she, girl, she is going to go out into the mall, go out to the grocery store. She is a woman about town, right? She has no time, honey, to be encapsulated in this sort of LGBTQIAP+. Girl, I'm living my best life. I'm going everywhere. All right. All right, you go right ahead. Because you're going to mess around and go somewhere, because these girls, and there's no shade to Treasure and the other girl, they come across to me like they hang out in the ratchet clubs. These are girls who are going to a jazz bar You know, they're not going out for cocktails. You know, they're going to turn up, to twerk, to smoke hookah. They're going to ratchet places. And where ratchet places exist, ratchet people exist, and ratchet altercations can occur. And so I agreed 100% with everything that they were saying. And no, I don't think it has anything to do with them being intimidated by the way that you look. Like, you need to dial that down, because that's ugly. That's ugly. It's no shame. But, you know, you are just beginning your transition. Just beginning it. There's a long way to go. A long way to go. And these women don't have any reason to be jealous of you. They're trying to keep you alive, sis. So hear the message and stop coloring what they're saying by your need for attention and validation, because that is essentially what you want. You need to go out into the straight club, have these boys look at you, have these men look at you and ogle over you, and for some reason that is going to give you value. And if that's the reason you transition, I'm here to tell you, you made a mistake. You shouldn't have transitioned, because if exterior appreciation or validation is what makes you feel like a woman, you wasted your time. You wasted your time. So anyway, you guys, if you get a chance, check out Just Lauryn. It's a pretty interesting show. The family dynamics, there's a interaction with Lauryn and her brother, and you know, the issues that they have. And so I think it's very informative. You know, if you really watch it and listen, I think it's a show that Black families in particular need to watch, because again, there's just some really interesting conversations that I wish more Black families were having. Anyway, you guys, that is it for today's video. So please do me a huge favor. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, in closing, ask yourself this one poignant question. Why be better when we can be better? So let's be better together. I'm Mash Friends, and I'll talk to you guys again in my next video. Bye-bye.